Hello and welcome to this episode of FinTech Focus TV, brought to you by Harrington Starr, global leaders in financial technology recruitment. Head over to the Harrington Starr website today, where you'll be able to download our brand new documentary, The Era of Convergence, which charts the merger of traditional and decentralized finance. You'll also be able to see our new magazine, The Financial Technologist, with the top 1% Workplace Awards. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you soon. Hello and welcome to FinTech Focus TV with me, Toby. I am absolutely delighted to be here at the Fixed Trading Conference at Old Billingsgate. It's a magnificent event, one of my favourites of the year, and it is a full house. One of that full house is someone I'm really delighted to bring onto the show. It is James Poole from Aquis. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Nice to see you again.
Absolutely. We always see each other at these events.
Yeah.
And around the corner from each other's offices and all those sort of things in various parts. We won't talk about that side of things today. Aquis is a company, as you know, that I'm always raving about. I think you guys are doing some amazing things. So give us a little bit of an insight into what you do, James, and what the company does itself as well.
Absolutely. So I am Executive Director of Technology Sales. So a little bit about Aquis, which will lend some colour to that role. So Aquis was founded around 11 years ago by a man that everybody in this room knows very well, Alistair Haynes, who wanted to create a unique pricing structure for an MTF trading pan-European equities. When this was set up, they had the decision or not as to whether to build the technology licensing existing suppliers, matching engines and market surveillances and things like that, or whether to build it from scratch. They took the decision to build this from scratch. They knew some of the legacy issues that existed within other providers' platforms. And so really, it is the most modern, what we think is the fastest, most robust exchange infrastructure provider and trading venue in Europe, really, potentially globally. So that's the MTF side of it. Which is based in both the UK and the EU. Thank you very much.
The numbers are amazing behind it straight away.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. So I think in the last 10 years, it's on any given day, 5th or 6th largest pan-European equity trading venue in Europe, trading anywhere between 2 to 5 billion euros a day. And that's across the different regulated markets we have. So we've got the MTF, as I mentioned. We also recently acquired the operations of UBS's Dart Pool, which gave us some Dart Pool functionality. We have a small growth cap UK listings market, so which competes very much with the LSE's AIM, and I believe, unless I'm incorrect, we actually managed to do more IPOs last year than the LSE's AIM market.
Wow.
So, and then my role specifically, born out of that new technology that I mentioned, that's an asset within itself. So I'm responsible for providing exchanges, a real breadth of exchanges, so anything from large MTS in their own right, like A2X over in South Africa, the primary competitor to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, all the way through to a startup crypto, startup bond market, large illiquid instruments that might not trade that regularly. So a real breadth of clients there.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How I love the sort of innovation that you guys have shown around that, because it's quite easy to stay in lanes, isn't it? What sort of prompted that idea, and why are you so passionate about how it can work out and how it can help?
Well, I think very much what Aquis is a fintech company within the finance market. I think that there are a lot of tech-enabled exchanges where they're born out of the way things were done 30, 40, 50 years ago, and they've kind of incrementally improved their technology. Aquis is born out of fintech. And so what that's led us to be able to achieve is a very agile, very nimble, very modern infrastructure that the whole company's built on. We run a lean business, and then that's represented in the types of clients that we speak to. So we provide a lot of cost savings from unique ways that we can structure our deals commercially, all the way through to providing completely outsourced services. So not only the technology to run your exchange, but also from an operational infrastructure and surveillance standpoint, we can provide the manpower to that. So if you're looking to start an exchange, we can do that for you quickly. It's built on the best technology because it supports all of our regulated markets, regulated by the FCA and the AMF in Paris. I think at the moment there is a shift to, especially within the crypto and digital asset space, a shift to a lot of increased institutional trading, and institutions want to be trading on venues that are built on these regulatory grade, institutional grade platforms. And Aquis provides the ability to get up and running quickly for good commercial terms, and that's kind of, we're seeing a lot of demand from that market.
We're saying, you talk about the market and demand from the market. I think this is a really interesting year, 2023.
Yeah.
Just in terms of how everything's moving, where pressures are on various parts of the market, et cetera, et cetera. Talk to us about how you guys are capitalising in that sort of space.
Yeah.
What the sort of challenges that you're seeing the market come, and how you guys come in as on your shining horses to come and solve everything.
Sure. So one of the key things that we're seeing is, as I mentioned briefly before, is this flight to institutional grade platforms for digital assets, tokenized securities, crypto. And one of the ways that we've been able to capitalise on that is, I think it was 2.5 years ago, we did a fairly groundbreaking proof of concept alongside the Singapore Exchange, SGX. It was a three-way POC, so the SGX, the Singapore Exchange, and AWS themselves, Amazon Web Services, and us. And we were selected because, as I touched on earlier, with the fastest matching engine. They wanted the matching engine to be the bottleneck and not the cloud. So the whole purpose of this POC was to prove that an institutional, regulatory grade matching engine and platform could be put fully in the cloud. So this is not buying Amazon branded hardware and faux cloud, as it were. This is a fully cloud deployment. And I think initially there were some speed bumps to that. I think the deterministic profiles of the latency weren't as good as we would have liked to have seen. But we actually, worked through that, and we ended up with a platform that, had unbelievable levels of determinism when talking about latency, what we would consider ultra low latency capabilities within the cloud. And I think that as we see, certainly from an ESG angle, but also from a cost saving and speed to market angle, more and more exchanges look to deploy things on the cloud outside of the data, which is where a lot of the cloud capabilities are currently being deployed. We're really reaping the benefits of that, and it's leading a lot of the conversations we're having with exchanges.
And with regards to today, there's a number of different themes on the agenda today. If you were there and you were saying what you know of the marketplace, and you kind of highlighted this a little bit beforehand, do you think what are some of the key challenges that the industry needs to address at the moment? What would you say they look like?
Some of the key challenges, I touched on ESG, for example. I think more and more customers are becoming aware of the ESG angle. So just to put it in perspective, if you're running an on-premise deployment, you have a data center full of servers, switches, all these things that are very electricity hungry and take a lot of power. What you'll also have in a regulated market is a one-for-one clone of that within another data center for DR purposes. So you've got two platforms there running side by side, consuming a lot of energy. What you get when you deploy in the cloud is that you can have a bare bones DR platform that's deployed that will have what you'll need should you need to fail over, which should obviously be rarely if at all, running. And then once that's failed over, you can then on the fly build up that platform, which means that you're reducing your carbon footprint quite significantly.
Yeah.
Some of the other challenges are, again, touching on the crypto and digital asset space, we're seeing in its very nature, crypto is traded 24/7.
Yeah.
It's far removed from the equity markets or markets that sort of rely on a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4 framework. So what we've been able to do at Aquis, which is fairly groundbreaking, and later on in the year we're having a more formal launch of this, is to develop a platform which is true 24/7. So that is uptime of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That means any maintenance, any updates to the system, they can occur while the platform is still running, which I think is, I think we're confident that's the first in the space, which
is massive, isn't it? When you think about that side.
Yeah, and I think crypto is interesting because it's one of the few markets that was developed within a retail environment, and then adopted by institutions. Whereas usually, obviously, as we saw a few years ago with Robinhood and all the different share dealing platforms, you see institutions dominate a space, and then more and more retail wanting to get involved. This was obviously vice versa. So in the early days of the crypto platforms, worst case, you would have unannounced downtime on the platform. The platform would simply fall over should you have a large volume day or you want to do maintenance on the system. In the institutional world, you can't have that. So best case, you're looking at 99.9% uptime with scheduled 10 minutes of downtime for maintenance and whatever you might need to do. What we're able to provide is, truly 24/7, no downtime, obviously all built on the regulatory grade platform that Aquis markets and their own markets trade on, so that that should there be an extremely high volume day, we're more than capable of handling that traffic.
I think that's a really important aspect of it, isn't it? That the institutional element to that crypto world, that digital assets world, is so important to have that sort of confidence of an institutional environment to do that, and the fact that you can come in there and we call it the era of convergence with traditional and decentralized markets coming together. That creates a whole new game change to really take the issues we've seen in that space and make it a lot more regulated. James, it's always a pleasure talking to you and the Aquis team, full stop. about everything that you guys are doing. Tell me who should be getting in touch with you guys and what's the best way of reaching out?
So anybody that should be getting in touch with us, anybody that is looking to create a venue of any sort, be it low liquidity, high ticket trading, we cover a massive range of matching mechanisms. So anything from an IPO, primary listings business, secondary market, trading using auctions, many-to-many auctions, continuous trading books. So it's product class agnostic. So anybody that's looking to create a venue of any sort, especially if you're looking to be regulated and have a highly performant system, get in touch, contact me, contact Toby.
And you're on LinkedIn, and everyone can get in touch from there, and we'll tag you into the post as well.
Absolutely.
James, it's a pleasure as always.
As always.
Thank you, and thank you for watching. We'll see you soon on the next episode of FinTech Focus TV. Cheers.